We are back with more sports and shenanigans. So pleased to be joined by head coach of UMKC women's soccer. It's of course Jess Smith, and I will never forget an opportunity to say also my former teammate. So there's that. But Jess, we left off with you making the move from KU to K-State. That's a tough one, but you did it in a bold way, which is amazing. And at K-State, you found some amazing growth. So came in obviously as an assistant, but you quickly rose the ranks and you became an associate head coach, which I believe certainly helped catapult you to becoming one of the youngest D1 coaches at UMKC. So talk to us a little bit about, kind of some growth at K-State, but then how you feel like that set you up to then earn the head coaching job at UMKC.
Yeah. As I mentioned, building a program and learning to recruit in a different way. I learned a lot from Mike and Gabe, just from a recruiting analysis standpoint, connecting with recruits on visits. I mean, because our primary work at the beginning was making sure that people understood what our mission was, our vision, and to get people on campus. So I would say, the K-State department as a whole was a really wonderful place to work. There were many administrators. I had 2 athletic directors while I was there who also were just amazing and always open to ask any questions that I had of them. They were willing to have conversations with me, and I think that really helped me along the way. Obviously, the reason why I left Kansas was I needed to have some movement and some growth. And I certainly got that at K-State and tried to soak up everyone around me to get as much knowledge as I could. And the reason why I left K-State was at the time, my oldest son was 3 years old and he was diagnosed with autism. So I had to make the decision that our family, we were going to leave Manhattan. And so I actually resigned without having a job because we needed to get back to Kansas City to have some better resources for our son. So it was kind of another moment of transition for me. I was a online health coach for about 6 months. And then the UMKC job opened. And so I'm really grateful for, obviously the resources that we found in Kansas City for our family, but then this opportunity for me to get back into coaching. And I think, what I learned at K-State and how we had to build helped me position myself to get the head coaching job at UMKC.
Yeah, that's incredible. I appreciate you sharing the details of that transition. That's a hard decision to make, but that's what moms do, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was, no other choice to make. So.
Well, incredible transition, and your journey has landed you at UMKC. In your time, there's been a lot of success. You came in and really turned the program around, which is incredible. 2023 being a big year for you all. Talk to us a little bit about how everything's going now. I just love that you are a coach that celebrates some of your recruits, and I'll see on Twitter, it's like, we just landed another one and can't wait to share with you. How's it going this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I inherited a program that had been historically very successful. The previous staff did a wonderful job. And, I got the job 1 month before COVID shut down. So it was to have my first head coaching job in that time period. Not only the world was transitioning, but the program was transitioning as well. From a recruiting perspective, in women's soccer, it is a long-term plan. We're getting ready actually on Sunday. Recruiting for the 2027 graduate class opens up. So, we're looking 2 to 3 years down the road. And so I came into a program that historically successful, but we were kind of in a space that we needed to rebuild some things. Had a lot of players graduating, a lot of top players. And so I really feel like the last 4 years has been, about getting our style, the players that are going to fit, our coaching style, our culture, get those kids here, and kids that are passionate about Kansas City and UMKC, and the great campus that we have. And I think like my biggest success probably has been over the last couple of years we have had very incredible women in our program. Some that have gone on and they're making waves in their community. Some of them are going to be doctors, and we have something on our locker room wall that says, "Be the best version of yourself, and you are enough." And so I think that when I look back is going to be my greatest success as a coach, is that influence from a holistic perspective. Our goal is to, yes, obviously we want to win on the field, and I think our program has a lot left to prove and to do it in a consistent way. And we're really excited about our upcoming season in that regard. But for me, it's about our daily process. It's about becoming women that are the best versions of ourselves in the community, in the classroom, in our relationships with people, and obviously on the soccer field as well. So we're anxious and excited to have a great class that's coming in. Mark and I have been working very hard over the last month and a half, and we have some incredible women that are joining the group we already have. And so we hope on the field that we're really able to be consistent, win some big games, and hopefully make a run in the conference tournament.
Yeah. I love so much of what you brought up. I didn't know that you had that saying in your locker room, but I was going to point out that even from the time as a player and how I've seen you coach, you have been dialed in on the whole person. So reaching your student athletes in a way that you can relate, but also letting them know like you're there for them as people. And Mark Francis had mentioned, he pointed out just your positivity while demanding excellence from players. And Jean Taylor, of course, longtime K-State athletic director, pointed out your desire to mold players as people. So I know I've seen you do it. It's how you move. It's how you relate. Why is that? What motivates that? Is it from your experience as a player? How do you become that coach?
That's a very good question. I think, it starts back to me being a little girl. I've always been, this is kind of funny, but I always watched Mr. Rogers. I've always had just this idea in my head that you treat people the way you want to be treated. Obviously, wonderful family, wonderful friends in my life, and then certainly the experiences that I've gone through on the field, and off the field as well. I think, some of the coaches that I had, I mentioned Donna, Kara Lowry was another coach of mine at Kansas that was really influential, along with Kelly Miller and, of course, Coach Francis. But I went through a period, in my college career where I was very uncomfortable in my own skin. I didn't know who I wanted to be. And in many regards, soccer really hid another side of me that I hadn't explored before. And so I think that is a really big part of why I want to holistically coach people. Just to be their unique selves, no matter what that is. Part of our culture, the roadmap to who we are is we want everybody to be authentic. And we want to create a diverse culture that embraces everybody's unique traits, whatever that is. So if you're passionate about this, like your teammates are going to love and respect you for that. For this, if you have something else that makes you different, you're from a different place, you believe different things. If you're in my environment, the expectation is that all of that is okay. And we're going to respect and love each other with kindness. So I think that's one thing I think that sets us apart. We talk about those things. When we talk about on field, how we coach players or how teammates coach players on the field, we want it to be positive, competitive, and uplifting. So we talk a lot about the tone in which we give direction. And that influences how I coach every day in the training environment and as well as on the field. And I truly believe that if players know that a coach or a teammate believes in them, cares about them from a holistic standpoint, that player is going to be the best player they can be on the field. And I don't know if I actually was able to be the best player I could have been, because I was thinking about a lot of other things that really scared me. So, obviously after college, I came out much more comfortable in my own skin. I know who I am. In fact, I think it makes me who I am. It's a part of me, but it's given me a different lens, just like being a mom has, and just like being a mom of a person that has autism has. So all those things really have influenced how I coach people.
Well, I said it earlier, but your players are so blessed to be able to work under you, work with you, be a part of your team, and be coached by you. I think it's incredible how you do use your personal experiences, whether they were positives or, you learn like what to do, what not to do, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think you've done it in an amazing way, and your players are really lucky to be around you. Of course, again, you bring the positivity and the relatability, but you never short them at all. You always demand excellence, which is incredible. So I have to highlight, you brought it up, but I appreciate being so vulnerable and transparent. But how are you a mother while a Division I coach? I mean, this has a lot of attention out in your day. But talk to us a little bit about, you mentioned that, becoming a mom has even made you a better coach, and probably vice versa. But you talk a little bit about that experience.
Yes. It is not easy. I'll tell you that. And there are not a ton of examples that you see, as I'm growing up or getting into coaching, of female head coaches that have children. You're seeing it more and more because, there are women that are talking about it more, and the United Coaches Association, highlights it. In U.S. soccer, you're talking about it and seeing it a lot more, which is wonderful. That doesn't take away from some of the very real challenges that come with the time load to be a head coach, as well as being a mom and being the mom that you want to be. And I've had to understand that there are going to be times of the year where, I can't put 100% in everything. It's just not physically, emotionally possible. So, I've got a great support system, great family that, we get through the seasons, the championship season. And obviously I have to recruit a lot. I rely on Mark a ton. He is, just so instrumental in helping things flow the way that we want them to flow. But I've had to learn that, when I get home from a game, whether, it's a loss or whatever the result is, my kids don't care about that. And they're expecting, to have mama's best. And so I've learned as I've gotten older, and it's given me perspective too. My oldest, Leo, he has a lot of challenges. And it is, all parents have challenges with their kids, certainly. But he does not have a lot of conversation, verbal skills. He deals with a lot of, aggression and things like that at times. We are making such positive headway, but there are challenges that we face that, sometimes I can't come home and sit on the couch and be, just kind of decompress from the game or from a long recruiting visit. Like, I've got to be on. And that's helped me, honestly, like, balance things better, in both my coaching and as a parent. My kids are my number one. They've got to get the best of me. And sometimes that means, we've got to make the most of it, and we've got an impromptu plan, and whatever the kids want to do, we want to go outside and go on a little nature hike. I don't have the energy for that, but we're doing it. So, but it's a experience, and my players have to, they help me as well. So I really appreciate, their kindness, and I love bringing my kids around my team, and that's a great experience for both.
Yeah, that speaks highly of them. Well, also, I appreciate how your children have influenced and maybe inspired some other projects that you have going on. So I know it's not necessarily out and up and running just yet, but you've been really working on an incredible training opportunity. Share with us a little bit about it.
Yes. Through my work actually with UMKC Women's Soccer and KC Current, we have a wonderful partnership. We've had the opportunity to do some community events. And so I did, it's been about 3 years ago. I went to Lincoln Prep, and we did a 3-week leadership training, with young ladies there. And the principal selected just 25 young women that they thought could provide change within their academic community. And so we talked about core value building and what it means to really look within yourself and look at who you are and not what you do. I think that even at the Division I level, probably even at the professional level, the way and take it outside of sports as well. We measure ourselves so often by results that we cannot control. So it's very hard for me sometimes because we are in a results-based business, but there are a lot of things out of control. And what we can control is our intensity and effort that we bring every day, as well as focusing on who we are and knowing who we are. So that was the first kind of seminar that we did with Lincoln Prep. With KC Current, we had about 75 young girls come in. I did a very similar core value build with them. And it got me thinking a little bit with all the changes in college athletics, that to really help athletes, I think, perform and reach their potential on the field, we've really have to talk about how we're measuring success and what they should be focusing on. So while we should be driving to be the best version of ourselves on the field, and that takes time, dedication, to your functional position, the things that you do to perform, we have to be able to mentally stay engaged and understand that when we make mistakes or results that don't go our way, it's not about our authentic self. That is our performance self. And so we need to separate those two things. And my passion, as I've gotten older and experienced working with different players, is that I want to build a training. It's called core training, where we look at core values. It's a mix of soccer training, so high level training, but we're focusing on who you are as a person and making sure that that is your sacred center. That's who you are. So I have to mention a mentor of mine, Donna Fisher, who really helped start leading some of this work. And that I've kind of adapted and taken in my own direction. And I also want to do something for kids that are not neurotypical. So my son, Leo, there are not a lot of opportunities for coaching and for just movement, strength training for kids on the spectrum. So we will also have a adaptive core training part of my coaching. And I'm really excited to start that here in the coming months.
Oh, I love to hear that. It's very admirable how you take your experiences and allow them to impact others. And I mean, that's you to a T, from playing the game to now coaching the game to now creating an opportunity for young athletes to just continue to grow and learn and make sure their needs are being met. So amazing. We could go on and on about all that your impact has brought. And we didn't even touch on like being a head coach in NIL. I think we just have to do this again, Jess, because
let's do it again, Jill. Let's do it.
I know. I definitely want to touch base when core training gets up and running and make sure that we celebrate you for that as well. But it has been such a treat to catch up with you. I know I get to see you out at CPKC Stadium here and there, but I'm keeping up on you and wishing you the best of luck with UMKC this year. Again, I love to see how you celebrate every time you get a recruit. I think it's so cool. And I don't know if I ever told you, I coached Miriam. She was on one of my club teams. I don't know if we ever
did. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Forgot to connect on her.
What a wonderful, bright, intelligent human, great soccer player. I love that.
Great family.
Awesome
too.
family. Speaking of family, I need to give a shout out to your mom. I text her.
She's gonna love that. My mom loved you so much from the Olympic Development Program days. She was what was her title? She was
She was the team administrator. I couldn't have made it through those weeks without her.
You gotta love the Pegster, but keep killing it. We're so proud of what you're doing. And you're just such a role model in all the ways. So the impact you have is immense. But just keep it up. We need to see more women who are doing what you're doing and continuing to impact other women. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to talk about some of the things we're doing. So really appreciate it. And you're such a rock star. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm so proud of you.
Appreciate you, girl. And a big shout out to Cherry, of course, who sponsors Sports and Shenanigans, a women-owned lifestyle brand who has passion for celebrating female athletics. That's why Jess was here today. But thanks so much for listening. If you haven't liked our show, please do so either on YouTube, on Instagram, rate us on any streaming platform where we get your podcasts, and check us out. We've got more coming at you. But Jess, thanks so much. You actually kicked off Coaches Week. I forgot to tell you that. So thank you.
Great.
Taking one of our featured coaches and Beth DeVlon. Yeah, thank you so much. This has been Sports and Shenanigans featuring Jess Smith. Catch you guys next time.